everyone, I'm back with another holiday project today using a bunch of products from Honeybee Stamps, including this really awesome Lantern Builder die set, the Honey Cut. I'm also going to be using this gorgeous stamp set called Pretty Poinsettias, and there is a coordinating die set that is sold separately that coordinates beautifully with that stamp set, and I'm going to be using all of these products here today. I'm going to cut out that Lantern Builder die, the base for that lantern, with this really beautiful teal cardstock from Gina K. And I am going to be, there you can see I've got that all cut out, and I am going to go ahead and back that opening with a piece of white cardstock. Now that piece of white cardstock that I've trimmed out is 3.5 by 4 inches. And before I go ahead and glue that to the back of my little lantern here, I'm going to apply a little bit of antique linen distress oxide ink with my really awesome Honeybee Stamps palm blender. This is a hexagon palm blender, or just this palm blender here. And I'm going to go ahead and blend on that beautiful antique linen color. This is one of my favorite distress oxide colors, or distress ink colors. I just love that it's really soft, and it's just going to add that little bit of glow to that paper just to make it look like the lantern has a light in it. Now I'm also going to be using some Tim Holtz Ideology gold metallic cardstock here as well on my project for a bunch of different parts of the project. And I'm going to start off by cutting the trim at the top and bottom of the lantern with that metallic paper. I'm going to cut that and set that aside, and now I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping. So I've got all of the the Pretty Poinsettia stamps that I want to use from that set, plus extra. So I'm not going to use all of these on this project, but I just wanted to go ahead and stamp and heat emboss all of these different images out, and then I'll have them ready to go for following projects in the future. So I'm using some Brutus Monroe fine embossing powder in gilded. So this is just a really pretty gold embossing powder. I stamped all of my images out with some sticky embossing ink, and now you can see how that embossing powder just sticks so nicely to that ink. I did prepare my white paper with some anti-static powder tool before I got started, so that the powder only sticks to that sticky ink. Now I'm taking the coordinating dies, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of these images with my die cutting machine. And now I'm going to prepare my card base. Now this card base is some Nina Solar White 110 pound cardstock. I've trimmed it to 10 by 7, and I'm scoring it at 5 on the long side. So on the 10-inch side, I'm scoring it at 5 inches so that I can just fold it nicely in half, and I will have a lovely 5 by 7 card base for my card today. Now I'm going to be taking some Honeybee Stamps Creative liquid glue. This is the awesome glue tube that Honeybee Stamps sells, and there's that really cool little glue holder. I'm going to go ahead and get the back of my lantern adhered to that little inked up base that I did the ink blending on there. I'm going to get those stuck together, and I'm going to go ahead as well and stick the metallic pieces that I have cut with that gold metallic paper. So I'm going to put that trim on the top and then on the base, just to add a little bit of detail to my lantern. And then there's also a little die with that lantern builder set that is the little ring at the top of the lantern, and I just cut that with that same teal cardstock as the rest of that lantern. Now here you can see these beautiful gold embossed bits from that Pretty Poinsettias, and I'm also going to be using some little die cut spruce pieces that I've cut in that gold metallic paper as well, and those I cut using some dies from the Lovely Layers pine cone die set. I'm not showing that here on the video. I will show you the dies that I use, but not the whole set. So these are the 3 dies that I used from the Lovely Layers pine cone set. I will link up all of these different things that I used for my project today in the description box below, so you have a list to click from when you want to shop today if you want to purchase any of these different items from Honeybee Stamps. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like decide where in my visual triangle here on my poinsettia where I want those different little spruce sprigs to go. And I also added a little bit of that holly berry, the holly leaves that I embossed as well. Now these are the really awesome plaid A7 cover plates, and there's 2 parts to that set. There's a top and a base. So they're sold separately, but you can see how awesome they layer together. And I wanted to go with a white on white background there, just because I think that just adds some really cool texture to my background without being too bold. I also pointed out where I'm going to put the sentiment to the right of the poinsettia on my card, and you'll see me do that here in a minute once I get these all glued together. I just really love that texture that this adds to the base of my card. You can just see how interesting that looks. And I'm just going to get those all stuck together. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure there just to make sure that everything is stuck down and adhered nicely to my card base. And now I'm going to go ahead and continue. So that one piece of floral from the pretty poinsettias, I'm actually just going to cut that in half, and I'm going to use it as a little layering piece behind my lantern here, and you'll see that in a second. I've added some foam adhesive to the back of my lantern just to pop it up and give it a little bit more dimension on my card front. Sorry, I'm working out of frame here a little bit. I did actually move my camera stand, so I'm just kind of getting used to where it is, where my camera is now with regard to where I'm working here on my mat. So I am going to just go ahead, like I said, I've cut that piece in half, and I'm just going to layer that in behind there. I'm going to pop a little bit of it up on some foam adhesive just to give it a little bit more dimension as well. And then I'll just take a couple more of those gold metallic cardstock pieces from that Lovely Layers pine cone dies and get those stuck in behind there. And I just like how that finishes that area off up at the top of the lantern. It just kind of looked a little bit plain up in that area. Now I am going to go ahead and take the Joy Buzzwords stamp and honey cuts, and these are sold separately. The stamp and honey cuts are sold separately. I did want to go ahead and take the Joy, and I'm going to use 2 of those honey cuts, the smallest and medium-sized Joy dies from the Joy Buzzwords honey cuts, and I'm going to layer the gold metallic on top of the white, and that is going to be part of my sentiment grouping here that's going to go to the right of my poinsettia there. Really love how this is looking. I think this is a really elegant card. It's definitely a large size, and I am okay with how the poinsettia is hanging off the edge of my card because I do have an envelope maker, so I can customize the size of my envelope. If you wanted to do this yourself and you didn't want that overhang, you can definitely move your poinsettia over more towards the center of your lantern. Now I did go ahead and stamp out the sentiment and piece from the poinsettia, the pretty poinsettia stamp set. So my sentiment is going to be Joy. Actually, no, that and piece is from the Joy Buzzword stamp set. So I've stamped that out in some teal colored ink, and I just love how that finishes it off. So that's my card for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like this is just a really pretty, classy piece. It actually could even be used for a little bit of decor. And I had so much fun creating this for you today. Have an amazing day, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.